In this video, I'm going to count down the top 10 pieces of gear that I've been using the most in the home studio in 2020. But if it's your first time here, who am I? What is this? My name is Pete. This is Studio Live today, where my goal is to help you create, record, and release your best music. The countdown starts in 1 minute, but I've got a few things I need to say first. Number one, use the gear that you have right now and get started. I don't want anyone to say, oh no, I need to buy all the gear before I can actually get started creating. You can create with the gear that you have right now. Number two is that down in the description, we're going to have the affiliate links. So they are links to all of the gear that we talk about here. When you make a purchase using those links, they break off a small chunk and they send it my way, and that way it helps support the channel. And number three is you can jump down here, studiolivetoday.com/gear. That is your one-stop shop. That is where you can find all of the gear that I recommend. And in fact, it looks a little bit something like this. So if you jump on over there at the top here, you can jump into Amazon, Sweetwater, eBay, Thomann. Doesn't matter where you buy your gear. If you buy it using these links, you'll be supporting the channel and you'll get a good deal on some good gear. And you can see there my current setup. All the gear that I currently use in the home studio is there. So jump on over studiolivetoday.com/gear. But let's get started with the countdown, and we're going to do this reverse countdown style. So we're going to start with number 10. And number 10 most used bit of gear in my home studio in 2020 is the M-Audio KeyStation 49 Mark III. Yes, this is a MIDI keyboard controller. We'll zoom on in on it. It's my favorite MIDI keyboard controller. You can see there, 4.5 star, 16 reviews there. A lot of other people love it too. It is the best balance, in my opinion. If you're looking for a MIDI keyboard to plug into your Mac, your PC, your iPhone, your iPad to record in those keyboard parts, this is what I go for. Why is it down at number 10? Well, there's just too much other cool gear that I use that is going to be in the top 10. So it's not that it is the 10th best thing, but it's just because I'm a guitar player and a singer, first and foremost, I use those more. And yes, there's a little bit of a tip there for what may be coming up here. But what do you get with the KeyStation? Well, you get a very good package here. You've got your modulation and your pitch bend wheel. You've got volume controls, octave controls there. And then you've got 49 touch sensitive keys here to do your thing with. It's a very nice piece of kit. And as you can see there, it's under $100 at the moment. And it's usually sitting around that. I know that they say 150 down to 99. It sits around that $100 mark to $120 mark most of the year. But it is a good time to jump in. If you've never used a MIDI keyboard, it kind of changes your world when you start using one in your recordings, because it just gives you that control and that ability to play it. Even if you're not a piano player, even if you're just playing in lead parts or string parts or synth parts, you've got a very cool controller, and this is my go-to. You can grab anything, like there's Roland, there's Korg, there's Yamaha, there's every other brand is good. M-Audio seem to have found the perfect balance between quality and price. So if you want to get in on the entry level, if you've been looking for a MIDI keyboard, you've been coveting one, this is my recommendation. It does also come in a smaller version, so you can grab this in a 32 key or larger versions, 61 and 88 key versions as well. So that is number 10, the M-Audio KeyStation 49. Number 9 is something that is there, but it's also here. Snap, match. So this is something that's kind of changed my world this year when it's come to guitar recording. We'll bring it in here. It's the Xtone Pro from Xsonic. It is a guitar interface. Now, you might be saying, Pete, another audio interface here. I thought you loved a different one, which we may or may not talk about. The reason I love this is that if you're a guitarist, this puts guitars first. You always know you're using a guitar interface when guitar is channel 1. Yeah? Microphone's an afterthought. This is a guitar interface. You can see here we've got 6 different stomp buttons here. So you can actually program this in. You can use MIDI Learn. It's got MIDI on the back there as well. So you can plug your keyboards, plug it in via USB. And this means that if you're using something like Bias FX or GE Labs, you not only get control over your guitar recording, but you can set up presets, so you can jump between different amp settings, different pedals, and you've got complete control. It's a virtual stomp box for your home studio, and the good folks at Xsonic sent me this one, and yeah, I've been loving it. It's a slow burn. I've been slowly starting to use it more, and it's super handy. As I'm doing more heavier guitar stuff, it is great to have that. I can do my old school 90s grunge stuff where you start with a nice clean clean Marshall tone, and then you kick into like a Boss DS1 or a Screamer kind of pedal tone, and you can have all of that in the one box. So that is that one. It's around the $200 mark for this Pro version. There are smaller versions that are the non-Pro that have less pedals, less stomp box bits on them, that still have a really good quality sound. And you're not sacrificing sound quality either. 192 kilohertz, 24-bit, super high fidelity sound on that one. So if you're a guitar player, that is something to definitely keep in mind and check out. And again, all of these are going to be linked down in the description if you want to check them out. Number 8 in the top 10 countdown of most used gear of the year. And you're like, Pete, that's a webcam. I know it is. But guess what? Music is as much about video these days as it is music. And having the ability to have a webcam so you can do this, live streams, or that you can record yourself playing or singing, or you can record your ideas down, you can do behind the scenes videos, it is super important. And in 2020, a webcam is almost a must-have, to the point where we saw earlier in the year, they all kind of like sold out. Everyone went nuts and started buying webcams. This is my webcam of choice. I'm not using it right now. And here's the thing. I've got two webcams sitting on top of my screen right now. One is the Logitech Brio that you're seeing right now, and that looks like this. It's a decent image. It's good. It does the job. It's about a $300 webcam. The C922 is a $100 webcam, or sometimes even cheaper, and it gets almost exactly the same picture quality. Some would say slightly sharper picture. So do you need to buy the Brio like I've done? Probably not. You can probably get away with the C920 or C922. As you can see there, it's a full 1080p webcam. It just does what it does, and it does it really well. So if you're in the market for a webcam, pretty much everyone in the industry, it doesn't mean you can't use something else, but pretty much everyone I know that does any sort of live streaming, any sort of video recording on their Mac or their PC is using a Logitech C900 series, either the 920, the 922, or the 930. So check those ones out if you can find them in stock. That is still the problem. They are coming back into stock now, but as you can see there's a few challenges getting hold of these. Don't pay the exorbitant eBay prices for people that are going to try and rip you off, but if you can find one in stock, they are a very, very good unit, and they are number 8 on our top 10 countdown. Let's move on. Number 7, don't leave home without a powered USB hub. Now, this is especially for my mobile creator friends. If you're using an iPhone or an iPad to record, you're going to need something like this. You'll also need, and it didn't make the list here because I don't use it that much anymore, because I now use my iPad Pro. So since I switched to the iPad Pro, which I have sitting down here, this uses USB-C. So I can plug in via USB-C. I still use this, the Tendak powered USB hub, but I don't need a Lightning to USB 3 adapter anymore. However, if you're using an iPhone or an iPad that has Lightning, the Tendak powered USB hub coupled with the genuine Apple Lightning to USB 3 adapter is what you will need. So if you are recording on your mobile device, you need to power up your stuff. And if you're in the home studio, if you're on the go, then yeah, you can plug it in and power up, and it'll be enough to power some of your smaller interfaces and your microphones and the like. But when you're docked here in your audio cave in your home studio, then having a powered USB hub just means that if you're using MIDI keyboards, if you're using audio interfaces, microphones, mice and keyboards, USB flash drives, this will give you 4 ports, nicely powered up to use all the time. And the other good thing I love about this is it also has on the end, can we see it here? Yeah, there it is. On the end of it, it also has this. It has its own charging port, dedicated smart charge port, which is a 5-volt, 2.4 amps. So not only can you power up all your devices, so let's just say you had a MIDI keyboard, audio interface, mouse and keyboard, and USB drive. You've got all 4 of those plugged in and powered up. You can then also plug that one into your iPad or your iPhone and power that up at the same time. So for a $20 device, I've had mine for about 2 years now. It has not missed a beat, and many folks have bought these on my recommendation, and they work really well. Can't be shipped to me because it doesn't want to send it to my post office box here in Australia. But if you're in most parts of the world, it will be absolutely fine and dandy. Let's move on to our next piece of gear. Yeah, you knew they were coming. They're right here. They sit on my melon all day, every day, and they are the Sennheiser HD280 Pro. I'm trying to find my other pair. I bought a new pair, and I haven't quite worn them in yet, so I don't use them on live streams, but I've been using them for mixing. So yeah, this is how much I like these. I bought a second pair, because the other thing you might notice is that the headband here is starting to get a little bit frayed. One moment, please. My apologies. The headband's starting to get a little bit frayed, as are the cups here. I did buy a replacement. You can actually replace these, and they're sitting in my cupboard waiting to be replaced. But it's one of those kind of if it ain't broke things. But as you can probably see, if we zoom in on what it looks like at the moment, this is like 5 years in. Yeah, it's starting to fray and starting to come away. So I do need to replace those. But yeah, this is another item, the HD280 Pro, that I highly recommend. It's a $100 headphone. They are just they're kind of that middle range. They're similar to the M Audio keyboard in that, you know, they're not a $500 pair of headphones. They're not like an ultra high end, you know, monitoring, mixing, mastering headphone, but they do everything, right? They're closed back. So if you're not familiar with headphones, closed back means you can see there that the cups go all the way around the ear. So, and if you've got big ears like mine, they're a nice oval shaped cup. So they're going to go all the way and seal around your ear. That means that if you're recording, you're not going to get that microphone bleed. So your microphone's not going to pick up the sound coming out of your headphone because it's just throwing it into your head as opposed to leaking it out. So that's pretty important there. It's a really nice flat frequency response that you have on these. So that's important for mixing and mastering. You don't want anything that's going to hype your bass or hype your treble. Let's be honest, it's bass. If you use something like Beats by Dr. Dre, you're going to get some super hyped bass. But using the Sennheiser, you're not. And like they're nice and portable, they're foldable there. You know, I love me, if you've watched the channel before, I love me some curly cord action. And this has a nice curly cord, so you plug into your gear, it's not going to come away, or as you move away, it's going to give you some give and some stretch. So there it is, the Sennheiser HD280 Pro, number 6 on our top 10 countdown. What will be top 5? Well, we're about to find out. But if you're getting some value, if you're learning something, if you're just having fun because top 10 countdowns are cool, then hit the like button. That will just let me know that you want me to do more things like this. But for now, let's dive in to our top 5. And coming in at number 5, we have the Audio-Technica AT2020. And you're thinking, Pete, you're not talking into that right now. That's a different microphone. Yes, it is. And the only reason I use this one is this is an AE3300. And I've got this because I got a really good deal on it secondhand. It's a very good microphone. But if you are looking for something for the home studio and you've got that $100, that magic $100 price point, and you want a high quality microphone, you really can't go wrong with the Audio-Technica AT2020. It is a side address, large diaphragm condenser microphone, which means that it's versatile. It is great for your acoustic guitars, your electric guitar amps, your vocals, instruments, wind instruments, anything that you can throw at this, it can handle, because it's just, again, that nice middle of the range, beautifully built, high quality device that you're going to really love. And again, everyone that I've recommended this to, once again, you can see 4.5-star ratings. This is Amazon, 4.7 out of 5 on Amazon. And people don't hold back. Like, people don't hold back on Amazon when things go wrong. Yeah, to only have, 3% 1-star, 1% 2-star, and 4% 3-star ratings, yeah, that's pretty darn good. And you can probably bet that those were people that just got one that they were looking for a completely different purpose. That's generally what I tend to find. But again, you can see I bought this, so I've owned this since June 6, 2019. So just every time I plug it in and use it, it just does what I want it to do. It is a super versatile, super flexible, really good high quality microphone. So if you're going to go out and buy one microphone for your home studio, you can see there it comes with the adapter. You can put it onto your mic stand. It comes with a little nice padded carry case there. If you're going to buy one microphone for your home studio, it should probably be this, or at least in my experience in the last year, this is the microphone I've used the most on vocals, guitars, and other things. Let's go in number 4. This should be no surprise to anyone. Probably the only surprise with this is that it's so low down, because this is my go-to audio interface for the home studio. Now, you can buy pretty much anything, and I recommend audio interfaces from Focusrite. I know that PreSonus makes some really good interfaces. A lot of people are using the new Motu M2. There is a bunch of options here. Basically, if you're going to buy an audio interface, a 2-channel audio interface, anything over that $150 mark from a reputable brand is going to do pretty much the same thing, to the point where I broke down the difference between the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 and this one, the Steinberg UR22C, and there really wasn't that much difference. The thing that I like about this is why I use and recommend this one, is that you have what you have on most 2-channel interfaces, which is you have two inputs. So you've got your left and your right input there. They are the Yamaha D pre's, so they're very nice preamps. You can use them as a mic input or a line input. Your number two one there is a high Z or high Z, which means you can plug a guitar in. You've got mono output, which is more important than you'd think. If you plug into just one side, you want it to come into both ears, right? You don't want your mic on your left and your guitar on your right. So when you're monitoring, that mono button becomes important. You can mix in your sound. So a lot of interfaces only have the ability to do latency-free monitoring through the interface or monitor back through your DAW. This one lets you mix in both so that you can hear a little of the effects, but you're also hearing the direct sound, and I find that super duper handy. You got headphones, you got output. The thing about this one is on the back. This is where it gets fun. You've got MIDI in and out. So if you've got some older MIDI gear, you don't need a separate MIDI device. You can use this for your MIDI in and out as well. And the thing I want to draw your attention to is over here on the left. This is the power source selector. Now, if you're a mobile musician, this is going to be great for you because you can power it up directly via USB 3. So you can plug it straight into your Mac or your PC or to your powered hub as I use it. But if you're on the go, you can actually use a portable power source. Anything that sends 5 volts of DC. So any of your portable batteries, your power banks, anything else, you can actually plug in and power up separately, which I find super duper handy when you're on the go. And you've got balanced TRS outputs there as well. So that is the Steinberg UR22C. As I said, if you've been around the channel, you know that I recommend this on the regular. I use it daily. I have my iPad Pro plugged into it. If you've ever seen a tutorial on this channel where I've recorded audio from my iPad, then it's using this device. And it is coming in at number 4 in our top 10 countdown. Let's move on to the top 3. Number 3 is... yeah, it is what I'm talking through right now. It is the Zoom LiveTrak L-8, 8-channel digital mixer / recorder. So why is this different? What does the Zoom LiveTrak do that other things don't? Well, it's actually 3 devices in one. It is a mixer. So I'm using it right now as a mixer. It's plugged into my PC and it's sending stereo audio out. So if I want to play my iPad, use my microphone, plug in my guitar, play my PC audio, I can do all of those through this because it's got 8 channels. I can plug in and I can do my thing. It's also an audio interface, but it's not just, like most mixers are 2-channel audio interfaces. So a lot of folks, when they start out, they see things like the Behringer mixers and they're like, oh cool, it's got 12 inputs. I can record 12 things at once. Well, no. Your standard mixer, excuse me, your standard mixer, whilst it can input 12 things, it'll only output that one stereo sound, whereas this can be set up into audio interface mode, meaning that you can record up to 8 different things at once on 8 separate channels, as well as your stereo channel. That makes it super handy. And it's also its own standalone recorder. So if you take this on the go, you can plug an SD card into it and record directly to SD card. So it's kind of 3 devices in one. It's your mixer, it's your audio interface, and it's like an old school standalone hard drive recorder. So regardless of what you're looking for, it's kind of going to deliver on it. The cool things it has here, you see you've got 4 different headphone outputs. So if you're monitoring out and you've got different people in bands playing together, you can give them all different monitors and you can set them all separately down here. You've got your faders on there. You've got your selection and your record play lights. You can adjust your gain separately. You've got a pad there. You can use the first 2 channels as high Z, meaning you can plug guitars into this thing and they sound really good. I use this for my live shows, not just like this one, but I do a happy hour every week where I plug in my mic and guitar. I use the onboard effects. I set the levels and then I just go and it works a treat. The one caveat, you may be aware that I just purchased a Mac M1, the brand new ones. This does not currently have a driver for Big Sur and the new M1 Mac infrastructure. So if you, or architecture, if you have a brand new Mac M1 and you're looking to get a mixer or an interface right now, here in December 2020, this won't work out of the box. I believe that Zoom are working on a driver and we shouldn't be far away, but I wanted to give full disclosure that if you're using a Mac and you're on Big Sur, I probably wouldn't recommend this right now. If you're using a PC though, it is a great device and it will catch up. I'm sure the drivers will catch up for the Mac. But yeah, the LiveTrak L-8, I bought it. I've fallen in love with it. I use it on the daily, and that is why it is my number 3 item here in our top 10 most used gear in my home studio for 2020. Let's jump in to the final 2. Yeah, there should, I wonder, we've got some guesses, throw them in the chat if you're watching here live, but we're going to jump into the top two. And top two, number two is, drum roll please, I could do this, or I could just do this and hold it up. Yes, because I am a mobile creator, my iPad Pro 11-inch. This has been a game changer for me. Now, before I talk about this, I need to say, as I said right up front, use the gear that you have right now. And I'm a testament to this, because until I bought this at the start of this year, I was using an iPad Air 2, a 6-year-old iPad, and I was recording in GarageBand, and I was creating music and creating videos and editing my videos on my iPad Air 2. I upgraded to this because the iPad Air 2 was doing everything I wanted it to do, but it was starting to do it a little slower. Since iOS 13 and now iOS 14, it started doing it slower, and I was finding that occasionally I was getting things. So when I recorded the screen for, say, 20 minutes, it would crap out on me, to be very honest. And I needed something that was going to be super reliable, super quick, and just get out of the way and let me get my work done. And that has been the iPad Pro 2020. And I got the 11-inch because it combines decent size. So you can see there, it fits in the hand nicely. You've got a nice size screen. It's super portable, but when I'm here in the studio, I can just dock it down here on my Magic Keyboard and it stays out of the way, but it's always there. And again, because it's what I use every day for mobile creation, for creating music, for doing video, it had to be right up here in the top 10. So there it is. You can get the 12.9-inch version. Now, by the way, if you're not looking for the, an iPad Pro, you don't want to spend $1,000 plus on an iPad, grab yourself some of the other iPads. There's some really good options. And in fact, if you go to Studio Live, that's not even right. It's not even the right web address. Forget that. Go to studiolivetoday.com/iPad and you'll be able to see my full range of iPad recommendations. Because the other cool thing is that as well as this one, as well as the iPad Pro 2020, which has some good features but is not for everyone, the new iPad, so the new just standard iPad, has the brand new chip in it. It runs really fast. The new iPad Air 4th generation is amazing. It's got USB-C. It does great things. So jump over to studiolivetoday.com/iPad and check out my full range of iPad recommendations. Before we get to number one, a bonus tip, and that is this one. Yeah, I was hesitant to put this in here, but it does get used on the daily. The reason I'm not recommending it is it's not for everyone. It's the Magic Keyboard. Yes, it's the $350 keyboard for your iPad Pro. So do I recommend this for everyone? Heck no, it is not for everyone. But if, like me, you are a heavy iPad user and you use your mouse and keyboard with your iPad on a regular basis, then having it just there and attached and ready to go at a moment's notice is actually super handy. I've found it really handy and really convenient to have. So I didn't want to put this as the top 10, but this is like your bonus tip, which is the iPad Pro's Magic Keyboard. So there you go. There's our full list. No, we've got one to go. We've got the final countdown. And I realized that I meant to have a prop here. So hold the line a moment. I'm just going to come over here because I meant to have this handy. I'm grabbing the device, and let's see if you can guess what it's going to be before I show it here on the screen. Whoop, I've given it away, haven't I? It's sitting in the corner there. Let's do it without any further ado. Yes, it is my guitar. As I was doing this countdown, I was thinking through and I'm looking around my studio. And as I was sort of doing this, I got distracted. And what did I do? Well, I picked up my guitar and started playing. And I got the feeling that I went, you know what the most used piece of gear in my studio is? It's this. It is my guitar. So I've owned this one. This is the Taylor 110E. It's there as well. You can see the Taylor 110E I've owned for about 4 years now, 3 years at least, and it is the best guitar I've ever owned. Now, as you can see there, it's not cheap, but it's certainly not at the higher end of Taylor's. So the 100 series that I use here, the 110E, or you can actually get the 110CE if you're more of a cutout person, if you want the cutout for the higher frets there. I've never had a guitar that plays as nice, that sounds as nice. The preamp on it is awesome. So the pickup, so if I plug directly in, it sounds great. And yeah, it is just, if you're looking for an acoustic guitar, I can't recommend the Taylor's high enough. And yeah, you can go the 200, the 300, the 500 series, but the 100 series is just made nice. it's built well, it is an investment. And if you're a guitar player, if you're an acoustic guitar player, I can't recommend these highly enough. I've played a lot of acoustic guitars in my time, and I always come back to Taylor. And now that I own a Taylor, I'll probably be a Taylor player for a very long time. So there it is. I know, number one. Who would have thunk it, right? The acoustic guitar guy goes with an acoustic guitar for his number one bit of gear. That is going to do it for this one. I hope you got some value out of this and had a little bit of fun. Don't forget that if you want to check out all of the gear I recommend, you can head on over here, studiolivetoday.com/gear, and that's has all the affiliate links to all of the gear that I use and recommend in the home studio. But I've got a question for you. What is your most used bit of gear in 2020? I'd love for you to drop that down in the comments of this video. Hit the like button while you're down there if you got some value out of this one. Would appreciate that. And until next time, happy creating.